Shalom. We are out and about in Nolita going to go get us some bagels for breakfast. But we're going to start this video off talking about what is the best winter gear for New York. Really just the best winter gear in general. But since we live in New York and we're dealing with 50 degrees today, but last week was in the teens, or sometimes the wind chill was like -3. We talk about what winter gear we have and what we recommend to stay warm when visiting New York. We've also worn this stuff to Iceland and tested it out, so.
Yep. Tried and true.
But first, bagels. I wouldn't say that New York has changed us, but it definitely has made us more bagel people. When we lived in Tulsa, I think we probably had a bagel a year. But we're gonna head to the apartment now and show you guys all of our favorite winter gear. But just a forewarning, this is happening in front of our apartment, so I'm sure you're gonna hear lots of construction noise as we're showing you this stuff. So first thing I want to say is that none of this is sponsored. We purchased every single item that we're going to show you. But that being said, if any of these companies did pay us, I would have taken it. The biggest piece of advice I have for any winter gear is base layers. Leggings, long johns, whatever you want to call them. Those are going to save you big time whenever it comes to staying warm and not being like crazy bulky. You don't have to have as many like bulky outer layers if you get your inner layers right. So when we went to Iceland, I had Patagonia base layers. So these are their mid-weight series, and I bought these on eBay and they were like $55 a piece. So this was like $110 for the base layer set, which is expensive, but I did wear these in winter, January, in Europe and in Iceland, and they kept me warm. A cheaper option than Patagonia is Uniqlo. I bought these this season for New York since I couldn't wear these base layers every single day. Had to wash them at some point. So I bought another pair so I could switch them out. And I did their heaviest heat tech, and these were $25. And I would say these are just as warm, if not warmer, than the Patagonia ones. So I do recommend the Patagonia. Patagonia is a great company, but the Uniqlo heat tech, I think, got the job done as well, and they're very comfortable.
So I bought a set from Uniqlo, a shirt and pants, and I bought the lightest weight shirt you could get because you're already wearing like a coat and then a jacket and a sweater and everything else. So I got the lightest weight shirt you could get, and it works. I don't know how it works. It's so comfortable and so warm. And then for the pants, I bought the heaviest weight pants at Uniqlo, and like Cody said, they work really well. I also though had a pair of Smart Wool base layer leggings. They were not cheap. I think they were like $100, $90 maybe, but they were so warm. I was not cold one time in Iceland or Europe with my Smart Wool leggings on. The only thing though is that whenever we moved, I lost them, so pretty bummed about that. So yeah, I would say that, a lot of people focus on jackets and scarves and things like that, and those are important, but base layers are game changers, I'm telling you. I didn't know about base layers until we went to Europe. They changed the whole game. I would have been miserable without them.
I promise we're not trying to humble brag about going to Europe. We just literally tested all this stuff with backpacking around in the winter, and so that's why we're saying it. I just realized we just said we went to Europe like 5 times,
but Iceland in the winter is freezing cold. So I feel like if these hold up in Icelandic winter, that has some validity.
Yeah.
Right?
So sticking with the underwear, Smart Wool socks are also game changers. Like we've said many times, the base layers are the most important, and then obviously that if your feet are cold, your whole body's cold, and Smart Wool socks they're miracle workers. They're amazing.
Yeah, so the thing I love about the Smart Wool socks is I am definitely like, if my feet are cold, I'm miserable, don't speak to me. And they keep your feet warm when they need to be warm and cool when they need to be cool. And I don't understand how it works. Like Cody said, they're magic. I don't really get it, but they really do work, and I probably have bought like 5 or 6 pairs because I just love them so much. They're just comfortable socks. So on top of the base layer leggings, I just wear jeans, and it works for me. Part of that is because of, fashion, and I don't want to look like an idiot, but there was a day in Iceland. It was like freaking cold and it was raining and the winds were like 100 miles an hour and I was just wearing jeans. Not the best option because I got soaked and then I couldn't warm up. So Cody might have better advice for you.
I wore jeans as well, on top of my leggings or base layer. But because I don't care what people think about me, I also got this packable rain pant, I guess. Took this with me on the trip, but also most of the time, this is in my backpack if the weather has any chance of getting wet. And so these just unfold, and that day that we were in Iceland and the rain was sideways and everybody else was miserable with their wet jeans, I was sitting pretty.
But not pretty though, because he looked like a nerd.
A really dry nerd.
Doesn't matter. So on top of my shirt base layer, I just usually wear a sweater or a t-shirt depending on what the weather is. But then I've got a couple of coats that I kind of switch out between. First I want to talk about this Patagonia jacket, and this jacket folds up just like Cody's pants. So it's you know, like this big. It's just like a puffer layer jacket, so it's not like the thickest you can get, but it was sufficient for me in Europe and has been sufficient for me here in New York too. And then I like to, depending on the weather, I'll wear this Patagonia rain jacket over it as well. And it's the same. It packs down really small, so storage, it's great for storage, great for travel. It works so well. I have not gotten wet with this jacket on ever. So if you're looking for something that is not so bulky but still like gets the job done, I think these two together are a really great option. The other coat that I have, which I actually just got in New York for New York, it's this Everlane puffer coat. I am in love with this coat, you guys. I wanted something in New York that was longer, so my Patagonia it hits me at my waist. I wanted something that would cover my legs a little bit in the New York wind, because you're out walking so much that, I don't know, I just wanted something heavier and cozier. And Everlane came out with these long puffers for this season, and it is so warm. And it's got these pockets on the side here, and they're lined. They're like fleece lined, I think, or something. Anyways, they keep my hands so warm. I absolutely love it.
So basically everything that Sarah said is this, because we have the exact same puffer and rain jacket that we combined together, and it seriously, my core is never cold whenever I'm wearing these layers of, if it's really cold, the base layer shirt, hoodie, puffer jacket, and rain jacket, it keeps my core so warm, and sometimes too warm depending on what the temperature is. And that's what I love about the Patagonia stuff, is that both of those jackets pack down into its own pocket to be so small that I can just pack it down and throw it in my backpack, and it makes it easy to have all these layers but not have to worry about where to carry my massive coat if I get too warm. Okay, so now we've covered like how to keep your legs and core warm. The next big thing is going to be your face, and this is going to be like top of the list, highly recommend, must need for staying comfortably warm, and that is getting some sort of neck cover, and we specifically have Buffs. The brand is called Buff, B-U-F-F. So I believe they specifically make these for skiing, but I mean, in past videos you've seen me wearing this whenever it's really cold. So what I can do is I can just wear it as a scarf. I normally would have it folded in half if I'm just wearing it down here, but then you can pull it up over your face and your head and your ears, and it becomes like a full hat. This and the base layers, I would say, if you get anything out of this video, is to get base layers and buy something like a Buff. Okay, so for the next thing would be gloves, and I will say that this is the one thing that we have not figured out, especially for me. So when we were in Europe, I had the North Face E-tip gloves, and for the most of the time they worked, but as we've been in New York and like walking around and stuff, those thinner gloves, just the air just really cuts in there and my fingers die. So one thing with gloves in New York is they have to serve multiple functions. One, they need to keep you warm, but two, you're gonna be getting on your phone a lot to check directions or whatever if you're out, and then also you need to be able to get into your wallet and get your subway card out and stuff like that. So they have to be more than just like big old ski gloves, because you're gonna take those on and off all the time to do things. And so trying to find a glove that is warm enough to keep my hands warm, but I can use them with my phone and be able to get my subway card out and all that type of stuff, and filming, I haven't been able to find it. So if you have glove recommendations, please leave them in the comments below, because I've been searching and cannot find the right pair of gloves for what my needs are.
I actually bought these Icelandic gloves, and they're incredible. They're Icelandic wool, they're fleece lined on the inside, and they really are the warmest gloves I've ever had. But like, look how impractical they are. Like, I can't actually do anything with them. So I would like to have a pair of gloves that I can use my hands, but I will say, like, whenever it was negative degrees here a couple weeks ago, these kept my hands warm. So as far as beanies go, there's not really any specific beanies that we prefer. I will say though that this is the Uniqlo Heat Tech beanie, and it's actually really comfortable. You know how sometimes your beanies make your forehead itch? This doesn't do that, to me anyway. So this is kind of my go-to beanie because of that reason. So shoes are the last thing that we're gonna talk about. I had some winter boots before that were very effective. They were like faux fur on the inside, and then they were rubber, like rain boot type on the outside, but I couldn't walk in them because they didn't bend, you know. So I wanted something that was very comfortable but still like got the job done. I randomly found these on the internet a couple years ago, and I don't think they're actually available anymore, but they're the Nike Roshi Run High sneaker boot, I think is what it's called. They are so comfortable. They're faux fur lined, the whole thing, so my feet are never cold in these shoes. And the thing that I love the most about them is that you can keep it like, I don't know, fashion-y, but then this is how I prefer to wear them. You just cinch it, and then it's like very minimal and discreet and comfortable like a tennis shoe, not bulky like a boot, but still like keeps your jeans tucked in nice, and they just kind of disappear. And that's what I really love about these shoes. Like I said, you can't get these specifically anymore, but I do think Nike makes really great options for kind of the in-between of a sneaker and a boot.
So for me, I can't wear Nikes. Nikes are always way too narrow for my feet, and my favorite winter boot that I have found, I've actually owned 3 of these in different colorways, are the North Face Back to Berkeley's. I had 2 other pairs other than these that were more fabric, and they were not waterproof, but then they came out with these all leather waterproof Back to Berkeley's in all black. Honestly, all I have is love for these shoes. I would 10 out of 10 recommend these for anybody who is looking for a waterproof, more fashionable shoe. Okay, so that's all of our winter gear that we have. Quite a few of you have asked us what gear we have, so we figured we'd just make a whole video on it. If this was helpful to you, hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not. Make videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on this channel. Mostly us vlogging out and exploring New York City. Sarah makes videos about books every Tuesday and most Thursdays over on her channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.